The history of tuna fishing in Japan dates back hundreds of years. As early as the Edo period, 1603 to 1868, tuna became an important part of the country's fishermen's lives and cuisine. However, commercial tuna fishing really took off in the 20th century, when Japan began to open up to Western countries and develop modern fishing techniques. In the 1950s, Japan began to use larger fishing vessels and more modern technology such as trawls and longlines, allowing tuna to be caught on an industrial scale. This development made Japan one of the world's leading countries in tuna fishing and consumption. During the 1960s and 1970s, Japan exported tuna to many other countries, while developing a tuna processing industry to serve the growing domestic demand. Tuna fishing techniques have undergone many improvements throughout Japanese history. Initially, fishermen used simple methods such as hand lines or nets to catch tuna. However, with the development of maritime technology, Japanese fishermen began to use larger vessels and more advanced technologies such as long lines and purse seine. Long lines are an effective method, allowing tuna to be caught in deep and offshore waters, where large tuna often live. In contrast, trawls allow large quantities of tuna to be caught at one time, increasing productivity and economic efficiency. In recent decades, Japan has applied satellite positioning and tracking technology to tuna, helping fishermen accurately determine the location of tuna schools in the ocean. This technology not only helps increase catches but also aids in the conservation of tuna resources by preventing overfishing. In the tuna fishing industry, there are two main methods commonly used: longline and purse seine. Each method has its own advantages and disadvantages, and is often chosen based on the species of tuna being caught and the specific conditions of the sea. Longline, this is a traditional method but is still widely used. Longline consists of a long main line with many small fishing lines, branch lines, with hooks at the end. This method allows tuna to be caught in deep water, where they often live. Bluefin tuna and big-eye tuna are two species commonly caught by this method. However, longline also has the disadvantage of long fishing time and can accidentally catch other species such as sharks and sea turtles. Purse seine, a more modern method, often used to catch skipjack and yellowfin tuna. Trawl consists of a large net that is dropped into the water to encircle a school of tuna. The net is then pulled tight, capturing the entire school of fish inside. This method is efficient and fast, but also carries the risk of killing unwanted species, such as dolphins, if not managed properly. After catching, preserving the tuna is important to maintain product quality. The tuna is usually immediately chilled on board using ice or blast freezing. At -60°C, the tuna can be stored for long periods without losing its freshness, which is especially important for the sashimi market. At ports, the tuna is graded and transported to markets or processing facilities. Transport is usually by refrigerated truck or by air for premium shipments. To ensure quality, the transport process must strictly adhere to temperature and hygiene standards. The tuna industry contributes significantly to Japan's GDP, not only through fishing and exports, but also through processing, trade and related services. Tuna products make up a large portion of Japan's seafood exports, especially processed tuna products such as sashimi and canned tuna. Toyosu Fish Market, home to the famous tuna auctions, is one of the world's largest seafood trading centers and contributes significantly to the local economy. Millions of dollars are spent on tuna alone each year, with bluefin tuna fetching millions of yen at auctions. Japan has many large companies specializing in tuna processing and trading, including well-known names such as Maruha Nichiro Corporation and Nippon Susan Kaisha, Limited. These companies not only operate in Japan but also have processing plants and distribution systems globally, contributing to the popularity of Japanese tuna in international markets. In the commercial tuna fishing industry, there are two main methods used, including longline and purse seine. Each method has its own characteristics, suitable for each tuna species and different sea conditions. Longline is one of the most popular methods for catching tuna, especially bluefin and big-eye tuna. This method involves using a long main line, usually 50 to 100 kilometers long, with thousands of small fishing lines attached. Each of these small fishing lines has a hook at the end, which is baited with fish or artificial bait to attract tuna. The main line is kept afloat on buoys, while the small fishing lines are lowered into the deeper water layers, where tuna often move. When a tuna is hooked, its pulling force is transmitted through the line to the buoy, helping the fisherman to recognize and pull the line up. This method is effective in catching large, deep-water tuna species. Longline also allows fishing in offshore areas where there is less competition from other fishing vessels. However, longline fishing also has certain problems. Long fishing times and the risk of catching unwanted species such as sharks, sea turtles, and seabirds are limitations of this method. In addition, preserving tuna after being hooked is also a big challenge, requiring effective onboard refrigeration systems. Trawling is the main method for catching skipjack and yellowfin tuna, which often live in schools in shallow water. This method uses a giant net that can surround a school of fish, then pull the mouth of the net tightly like a bag, capturing the entire school of fish inside. How it works: when a school of tuna is detected, the fishing vessel will drop the net to surround the school of fish. Then, the mouth of the net is pulled back with a cable, similar to pulling a bag, preventing the fish from escaping. This process is fast and efficient, especially when using satellite-based fish schooling technology. Trawling can catch large quantities of tuna in a short period of time, making it very cost-effective. It also reduces fuel costs, as there is no need to spend a lot of time searching for fish. A major problem with trawling is the risk of catching non-target species, especially dolphins, as dolphins often swim with tuna schools. Although mitigation measures such as the use of dolphin avoiding devices, dolphin safe, have been introduced, this risk remains. In addition, overfishing with trawling can lead to a decline in tuna populations in some areas. Pole and line tuna fishing is a traditional and sustainable method of catching tuna that has been used for centuries, especially in Japan and the Pacific Island countries. It is considered environmentally friendly and has a low impact on non-target species, helping to sustain tuna stocks. Here is a detailed analysis of pole and line tuna fishing in the commercial tuna fishing industry. Pole and line tuna fishing is a tuna fishing technique in which each fisherman on a vessel uses a simple pole with a line and bait to catch tuna. This method is commonly used to catch small and medium-sized tuna species such as skipjack and yellowfin, which swim in schools near the surface. Fishing vessels often use live bait or artificial bait to attract the tuna to the surface. Once the tuna gather around the vessel, each fisherman uses a pole to catch the tuna one by one. Each time the pole is pulled, a tuna is hooked and pulled aboard. This process is continuous and fast, and hundreds of tuna can be caught in a short period of time. This method is very effective in catching tuna without harming non-target species, bycatch, such as sharks, sea turtles, or dolphins, which are often caught in other methods. In addition, pole and line helps maintain high-quality tuna, because the fish are processed one by one immediately after being caught. Bait, live bait, usually small sardines or other small fish, is dropped into the water to attract the tuna. This bait is usually stored in tanks on board and dropped when the boat approaches the tuna school. Artificial bait can also be used, especially brightly colored or highly reflective baits to attract fish. Pole and line rods are typically 2 to 5 meters long, with strong lines and sharp hooks. Some rods are specially designed to withstand the strong pulling force of tuna, ensuring efficiency and safety during fishing. Searching for tuna schools, the vessel will move to areas with a high probability of tuna schools, based on direct observations or information from radar systems, fish finders, and satellites. Once the location of the fish school is determined, live bait will be dropped into the water around the vessel to attract the tuna school to the surface. The fisherman will begin preparing the rod and position on the vessel. When the tuna school gathers close enough, the fisherman will use the rod to catch the fish. They pull the rod up strongly and quickly, with each pull catching a tuna. The fish are quickly pulled up, hooked from the line, and immediately put into the storage compartment. The tuna are carefully handled to avoid damage and then stored in a refrigerated compartment to maintain freshness. Handling immediately after capture ensures the quality of the tuna meat, which is important for the consumer market. (3.583-5.000). The commercial tuna fishing industry would not be as robust as it is today without the support of modern technologies. These technologies include satellite positioning systems, fish finding radar, and modern refrigeration technologies. VMS systems help fishing vessels locate schools of tuna by tracking their movements using satellite images. These images are analyzed to identify areas with high tuna densities, helping fishermen optimize their fishing trips and save fuel. Fish finding radar uses sound waves to detect schools of fish underwater. When the sound waves encounter an object, such as tuna, they are reflected back and picked up by the radar equipment. This allows fishermen to accurately determine the location and depth of the school of fish, thereby adjusting their fishing methods accordingly. After catching, preserving tuna to keep it fresh is very important, especially for the sashimi market. Blast freezing is one of the modern methods used to freeze tuna at -60°C in a short time. This method keeps the tuna from losing its color, flavor, and meat quality, ensuring that the final product meets the highest standards when it reaches consumers. Preservation and transportation of tuna is a key step in the supply chain, ensuring that the product maintains its quality from the time it leaves the fishing vessel until it reaches the consumer. This process includes major steps such as refrigeration, grading, packaging, and transportation. As soon as the tuna is pulled onto the vessel, it must be immediately cooled to prevent decomposition. Modern fishing vessels are often equipped with advanced refrigeration systems, allowing tuna to be stored at -60 degrees Celsius. Some vessels also have onboard ice-making systems, helping to ensure that the tuna is always preserved in the best conditions. When the ship returns to port, the tuna are graded based on size, weight, and quality. High-quality tuna, often used for sashimi, are handled with extra care, including a thorough inspection to ensure there are no injuries to the fish. Once graded, the tuna are carefully packed in special containers to maintain a stable cold temperature. Tuna transportation is typically by refrigerated truck or by air for premium shipments. For the domestic market, tuna is transported quickly to wholesale markets or processing plants. For export, tuna is often packed in refrigerated containers or flown to ensure the shortest possible transit time and maintain the highest quality. The commercial tuna fishing industry faces many challenges, especially when it comes to the sustainability of tuna stocks. Challenges include overfishing, impacts on other species in the ecosystem, and pressures from global markets. One of the biggest problems is overfishing, which has led to a decline in tuna populations. To address this issue, many countries, including Japan, have joined international agreements such as the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, and regional fisheries management organizations, RFMOs, to establish regulations and quotas for fishing. Protective measures include setting catch quotas, closed fishing periods during the spawning season, and marine protected areas where tuna fishing is completely prohibited. In addition, technologies such as dolphin escape nets and bycatch avoidance devices have been used to minimize impacts on other species and protect marine ecosystems. The commercial tuna fishing industry in Japan is not only an important part of the national fisheries industry but also plays a pivotal role in the country's economy, culture, and cuisine. Japan is one of the world's largest tuna consumers, and the Japanese tuna market has a strong influence on global trends in the industry. Below is a detailed analysis of the commercial tuna fishing industry market in Japan. The importance of tuna in Japanese cuisine and culture. Cuisine culture, tuna, especially bluefin tuna, is an indispensable part of Japanese cuisine. Sushi and sashimi are two famous traditional Japanese dishes in which tuna plays a leading role. Tuna meat is divided into different parts, from red meat, akami, to belly fat, otoro, each of which has high culinary value and is loved by consumers. With a huge demand for tuna, the tuna fishing and processing industry is a major source of revenue for Japan. Tokyo's Tsukiji Fish Market, now Toyosu Market, is famous for its tuna auctions, where tuna can sell for millions of yen, especially bluefin tuna. These auctions attract not only local residents but also international chefs and traders. Japan is the largest domestic market for tuna, especially for sashimi and sushi. About 80% of the bluefin tuna caught worldwide is destined for the Japanese market. This demand comes not only from high-end restaurants but also from supermarkets, casual restaurants, and family meals. Although most tuna is consumed domestically, Japan also exports a large amount of processed and frozen tuna. Major export markets include the United States, Europe, and other Asian countries. Japanese tuna, especially those caught using sustainable methods such as pole and line, are highly regarded internationally for their quality and freshness. Japan imports a large amount of tuna from other countries to meet domestic demand. Countries such as Indonesia, the Philippines, and Taiwan are major suppliers. However, this supply is affected by many factors such as climate change, overfishing, and international tuna fishing regulations. Japan is one of the countries that strictly adheres to international regulations on the conservation and management of tuna resources. These regulations include catch quotas, fishing bans during the spawning season, and measures to protect endangered species. This affects supply and prices in both domestic and international markets. Tuna prices in Japan can fluctuate greatly, especially during auctions at Toyosu Market. Prices are influenced by many factors such as fish quality, size, time of catch, and market supply and demand. Large, high-quality bluefin tuna can fetch record prices, reflecting fierce competition in the market. Changes in consumption habits. In recent years, Japan has seen a change in consumption habits, with the rise of canned and processed tuna products to meet the needs of busy consumers. However, sashimi and sushi remain central to Japanese cuisine, and demand for fresh tuna remains high. Sustainable and environmentally friendly products. Awareness of environmental protection and tuna resources has driven the development of sustainable tuna products. Japanese consumers are increasingly concerned about the origin of products and are willing to pay more for products caught using environmentally friendly methods such as pole and line. The rise of new processing technologies. Japan has adopted many advanced technologies in the processing and preservation of tuna, including blast freezing and quality control technology. These technologies help maintain product quality, extend shelf life and reduce waste. Supply challenges. With overfishing in many parts of the world, the supply of wild tuna is declining. This poses a major challenge for Japan in ensuring a sustainable supply for the domestic market. Tuna resource management efforts and aquaculture initiatives can play an important role in addressing this issue. Opportunities from international markets. Although Japan is the largest tuna consumer market, international demand for high-quality tuna from Japan is increasing. This is an opportunity for the Japanese tuna industry to expand its export markets, especially in emerging regions such as China and Southeast Asia. Investment in tuna aquaculture. To cope with the decline in wild tuna resources, Japan is investing heavily in tuna aquaculture technology. The development of bluefin tuna farms will not only ensure a stable supply but also meet market demand for high-quality tuna products. Sustainability. The future of the Japanese tuna industry will depend on its ability to achieve sustainable development, balancing consumption demand and protecting natural resources. This requires cooperation between producers, the government, and international organizations. technological innovation, Japan can continue to lead the way in adopting new technologies to improve product quality, improve processing and preservation processes, and develop new products to meet changing consumer needs. Adapting to the global market, Japan will need to adapt to changes in the global market, including quality standards and trade regulations. Expanding exports and finding new markets will be key elements in the development strategy of the Japanese tuna industry. The commercial tuna fishing industry in Japan reflects not only the importance of tuna in cuisine and culture, but also an important economic sector with its own complexities and challenges. With a combination of tradition and modern technology, and a commitment to sustainability, the Japanese tuna industry has the potential to continue to grow strongly in the future, meeting domestic demand and expanding into international markets. The tuna processing in the factory is a complex process, requiring a combination of advanced technology and strict quality management to ensure the product meets the highest standards. This process includes many stages from receiving raw materials, handling, processing, packaging to storing and distributing the final product. Below is a detailed description of the steps in the tuna processing process in the factory. The tuna processing process begins with the receipt of fresh tuna from fishing vessels or suppliers. The tuna must be transported and stored in cold conditions, around 0 degrees Celsius, to ensure freshness and prevent bacterial growth. After receiving, the tuna will be carefully inspected for quality. Factors checked include size, weight, flesh color, odor, and freshness of the fish. Fish that do not meet the standards will be discarded or processed separately. After being inspected, the tuna will be washed with cold water to remove dirt, bacteria, and other impurities on the surface of the fish. Washing helps ensure food safety during later processing. The tuna will be beheaded and gutted to remove the internal organs. The internal organs of the tuna are usually not used in processing, but can sometimes be used as fertilizer or other byproducts. After gutting, the tuna will be filtered to separate the meat from the bones. The filtering process requires high technology to obtain the maximum amount of fish meat without damaging the meat structure. The filtered tuna meat will be classified according to quality, with parts such as red meat, akami, and belly fat, otoro, being separated. The filtered tuna meat will be processed into different products depending on the requirements of the market and customers. Popular products include fresh tuna, frozen tuna, canned tuna, and processed tuna, such as tuna mayonnaise or tuna sushi. Fresh and frozen tuna. Fresh tuna meat can be sliced or whole, then packaged and refrigerated or frozen. Advanced technologies such as blast freezing are used to ensure that the fish meat retains its freshness and nutritional value. A large portion of tuna is processed into canned products. This process involves cutting the fish meat, cooking it, and then packing it into tins with water, oil, or other sources. The cans are then sealed and sterilized to extend the shelf life. Tuna is also processed into products such as sashimi, sushi, or ready-to-eat dishes such as tuna mayonnaise. These products are often made to order and have a shorter shelf life than frozen or canned tuna. After processing, tuna is packaged in packaging appropriate to each product type. Packaging Packaging is typically designed to ensure aesthetics, convenience, and protection from environmental factors such as light, air, and moisture. Fresh and frozen tuna products are typically vacuum-packed to maintain freshness and prevent oxidation. During processing, product samples are microbiologically tested to ensure the absence of pathogenic bacteria such as Salmonella, Listeria, or E. coli. These procedures comply with national and international food safety standards. Each batch of processed product is tested for color, flavor, firmness, and other indicators to ensure that the product meets the highest standards. Products that do not meet the requirements are discarded or reprocessed. Tuna processing plants must comply with strict hygiene regulations. Processing areas, equipment, and utensils must be cleaned and disinfected regularly to prevent cross-contamination and ensure food safety. After processing, tuna products will be stored in cold storage to maintain quality before being distributed to the market. Storage temperatures must be strictly controlled to ensure that the products are not damaged or lose their nutritional value. After processing and storage, tuna products will be distributed to sales channels such as supermarkets, restaurants, and exported abroad. The distribution process requires precision in time and transportation conditions, especially for fresh and frozen products. One of the most important technologies in tuna processing is quick freezing. This technology helps freeze tuna meat in a short time, maintaining the cell structure,